Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. I am Maddles, and we are going in to the Group C elimination match. It is ForGG up against HyuN in a TvZ, and the first map is going to be merry-go-round. We have had two best of threes so far, both going to the ace game. Huck versus Snoot. Snoot was able to eliminate Huck from this tournament, and then of course we went on into Jaedong versus First, where Jaedong was able to battle back from losing the first game to advance 2-1 over his opponent. Now though, we're going into the next series. It has begun, so let's dive straight to it. And so here we are, game number 1 of this best of 3, and we have got an awesome series coming up for us. Spawning to the south position of merry-go-round, we have got the red Terran representing Millennium. It is ForGG. And his opponent up to the top left, the blue Zerg playing for Roccat. We have HyuN. ForGG, of course, coming off the back of a very high-profile win. And, well, it's going to be very exciting to see what he's able to do here at Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. HyuN is standing in his way, though. And he is a force to be reckoned with. And their group, they had a tough one. Although, to be fair, looking at the results of the first round games, it was actually the closest group so far, with both of those series going 2-1. Symbol was able to beat ForGG 2-1 in a TvZ, whereas HyuN was stopped 2-1 by Gumio in a TvZ. So both of these two, this is the second game they played of this matchup in this group, and they are of course battling to stay within the tournament. If you lose the elimination game, you are by default eliminated at stage 2. If you win, it's not the final hurdle though. You then have to go on and face the loser of the winner's match in order to get that second spot into stage 3, into the round of 8, where things get really tough. You go into best of 5s, the pressure's on, the main stage is there, the crowd is cheering, and everything comes down to just 2 best of 5s and a best of 7 if you get there, between now and becoming the champion of Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Now, in terms of openings, we had a pull first come down from HyuN. He's got 6 Zerglings ready to stream across the map. Is he going to go any more? He's hoping to apply a bit of pressure, most likely. One SCV is coming on up now. Going to go for a little bit of information. We've also got the Reaper about to be completed here for ForGG, who's opening very standard with a Reaper expand. These lings have been discovered by this poor SCV, who's frantically rocketing away, trying to get to safety. Probably not going to turn out too well for him long term. He's get clawed away at, which is very, very annoying. Anyway, Reaper is going to be a lot more successful at stopping this than, of course, the SCV would have been, as he just backs away for the moment and just trying dealing a little bit of damage overall. But hey, 2 Zerglings killed, should be able to get a third one, and this little bit of damage is always nice. It really shut down the opening that HyuN was attempting to go for, and as a result, ForGG should be quite happy with how things stand at the moment. Note he's being a bit safer, building the command center up in his main base rather than on the low ground, just due to the fact that we saw obviously a good number of Zerglings out in the field. He's probably just playing it safe, saying, well, I'll stay up in my main base, I won't risk anything because I'm already in a nice spot, thanks to shutting down those Zerglings before they were applying too much pressure. So that's all good, that's all solid, and now we're going to have a very, very happy Terran player with these 2 Reapers, just going for a bit of damage up against this Queen. Good little bit of back and forthing, actually dishing out quite a substantial amount of damage to this Queen already. And of course, as long as the Reapers stay alive, they just back on out. Combat drugs heal them up nice and quickly, ready for the follow-on push, which most likely will consist of 4 Hellions once this barracks and the factory switch on over. So 3 Reapers now coming on in. This is a big commitment to the early aggression from ForGG, knowing that he's got himself in quite a nice spot. He's just looking to really ramp that up. Does sneak on past these patrolling Zerglings. They were not doing their job effectively. And up in the main base, there's no Queen there to defend, so drones are going to get taken down. 3 Reapers, 2-shot drones, as we're seeing being executed beautifully here by ForGG, who is actually racking up a fair few worker kills already. These Queens trying to get in a position where they can defend this. Should be able to pick off one of those Reapers. 2 of them go down. A third is also likely to get caught unless it gets out, but no, it does get picked off. So all in all, that did go down, but for 5 drones killed, fair bit of damage. Tech Lab, of course, coming down now, ready to switch on over with this starport, and as a result, we should be getting some Banshee to join in with these Hellions. further harassment, but for the moment, HyuN now ready to counterattack, coming on through with quite a few of these speedlings, looking to get some damage down, prevent this natural base if at all possible, and we'll be able to stop it landing, because there isn't really anything to stop these Zerglings at the moment, so just got to wait for a couple more to come down. Also note, those Zerglings coming up the ramp did get vision of both the starport and the tech lab researching something. Therefore, boom, you immediately know the cloak is on its way, or you can pretty much guarantee cloak is on its way. Maybe not completely, but yeah, once you know that's coming, you can start getting in a position to be able to defend it nice. We should see some spores thrown down in the near future from HyuN, just to make sure that he's completely safe from that. He's got his third base on its way. He can drone heavily, but note this. The armory is coming on through. This is a nice little touch. This is no longer going to be Hellions going for a bit of fun. It's going to be Hellbats. Beefier, stronger, and a lot more frustrating to deal with, especially when they're combined with this Banshee. It's going to get quite tough to prevent them from having too much of a field day, picking everything off. The armory is now finished up. A second Banshee on its way through. Cloaking field, about 2/3, 3/4 of the way done at the moment. But yes, a couple of creep tumors just getting slowly and steadily picked off. That Banshee having a nice bit of fun. A good transfuse comes on down, but there we have the transformation. The Hellbat's going to be looking to get even more damage, but this is countered by a couple of speedlings coming into the main base now of ForGG. That's not what he really would have wanted. A lot of worker kills getting wrapped up. While these queens are going to end up being instantly or killed very quickly, the counter damage is actually pretty sweet. ForGG needs to do a lot now to make up for this. He's down to only 20 workers, and while he does have 2 orbital commands to get through there, this is a heck of a lot of problems. Needs to deal a lot of worker damage because of that Ling counterattack that has just been very, very annoying for him. Is dealing a lot of damage out with this, though. May even end up getting this natural hatchery. These Hellbats are in such a good position. Really tucked up in a nice tight ball, means that any of those Lings that try and come through are going to take a substantial amount of damage. The Banshee racking up more working kills on top of this. Down goes the natural hatch, but the counterattack still trying to come pressuring on through. This reactor is slowly getting worked away at. It's about to fall, and that allows a couple of Zerglings to come on through, but immediately gets restarted. The important thing for ForGG is that he does not allow these Lings to make their way up into the main base, but he's not going to be able to stop them for much longer. Tries to place down an engineering bay block, but doesn't get it. Should produce another one, though, to stop the Lings at just how many's here at the moment. Meanwhile, up in the main base, these Hellbats are still pressuring on forward, trying to deal even more damage where possible. The Banshees working away at this third hatch. This is a very, very funky game here already. The Banshee, though, eventually are going to be able to shut down all of these Zerglings, and there's nothing else that can be done about those. These Zerglings aren't going to be able to jump up there and start taking them out, so eventually these Lings will be killed, and after all is said and done, there's still the mules for ForGG, and that gives him the income, whereas for HyuN, he's got no third, he's got no natural. His main base is even being worked away at the moment, and with these Hellbats still alive, still making progress, ForGG should have this game in the bag right now. I don't see any way that this can really be stopped. The Banshee still needs to keep working away, though, at these Zerglings. They're being very annoying. But the point is, that's all they are. They're annoying. They can't be game-ending. HyuN, he's going to have no choice but to GG out in a moment. He's down to 23 supply, and there we have it. ForGG, with the Hellbat Banshee push, takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Beautifully done there by ForGG. The decision to base race was really smart, knowing the Banshees were back at home. Sure, the Ling counterattack did a lot of damage, but things were always looking smooth for the Terran player. Quick break now while we set up the second map here, and HyuN is going to be desperate to try and win that game to stay within Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Hashtag IEM on Twitter, let us know your thoughts, who you think is going to be advancing, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes with ForGG versus HyuN, game number 2. Welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters San Jose, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to have to remake quickly the game. Unfortunately, there was a small error on that. We were just loading in there, but we're going to be going into map number 2 of this best of 3. It is between ForGG and HyuN, and game number 1 did not disappoint in the slightest. We had a heck of a lot of action, we had a back and forth, and while HyuN tried to go for a good bit of counter damage with speedlings against that HyuN Banshee play, the defensive Banshee was just enough to just slowly pick apart all of those speedlings. And with that, the mules came through and won the game. And HyuN, without any hatcheries, had no other option. He's down a game now, it's a best of 3. If HyuN loses here, he is eliminated from Intel Extreme Masters San Jose in Stage 2, the group stage. It's not all over though. If he's able to win, we get forced into the 3rd game of this series, the ace game, and both previous series in the elimination games have gone to all 3. And that was of course Snoot versus Huck, and of course Jaedong versus First. Both of those were 2-1. Jaedong able to battle it back from losing that first game, and of course Snoot able to just edge on out over Huck. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how these two battle it forth. Foxtrot Labs is going to be the 2nd map, and well, with this game countdown started, we should be getting into it shortly. Of course, we'd love to know what you at home think, what you reckon is going to be coming down from these players. Hashtag IEM on Twitter to join the discussion. Let us know your thoughts. I don't have the production set up to put your tweets on screen, but I know that the mainstream do have that. So if you've got any thoughts on the mainstream games, hashtag IEM, and your tweet might be up on screen. Anyway, Foxtrot Labs, we are loaded into that. So without further ado, let's jump on in and see how this game is going. So it is map number 2 now of this best of 3, and spawning up to the top right hand position, we have got the Red Terran player representing Millennium. It is ForGG. And his opponent down to the lower left, the Blue Zerg representing Roccat. It is HyuN. HyuN now is battling to stay within this tournament. If he were to lose this game with ForGG winning game number 1, he would be eliminated from Intel Extreme Masters San Jose in Stage 2 in the group stage, and I'm sure that's something that he wants to avoid at all costs. ForGG though, he was looking strong in that first game. He really caught HyuN off guard with that Hellbat Banshee play, and even though HyuN did go for a little bit of an unusual strategy himself in that early pool, it still was enough to catch obviously him off guard, and he wasn't able to counterattack to deal enough damage to end it there. So be interesting to see what happens in this game. We do have, again, the gas coming on down, the barracks on its way for ForGG, so he should be going for a Reaper expand. But if we look back to game number 1, he did go for the 3 Reapers rather than just the 1 or 2 you'll usually see, and was able to deal 5 drones worth of damage with that. Moving now, obviously, into game number 2, Foxtrot Labs is a larger map, but there's a lot more avenue to go for harassment because there's more areas for these Reapers to bounce up and in and out of the main base and the natural base. There's also a big wide space, so if these Hellions get into the natural, it can be a lot more awkward trying to pin them down, trying to prevent them getting out damage. So all in all, ForGG should be in quite a nice spot here, but likewise, in these spawns, it can be a bit challenging to try and prevent speedlings coming in, like we saw HyuN try and do in game number 1 with moderate success. If it wasn't for the counter play in the Banshee that came actually down from ForGG, those speedling harassment plays from HyuN could have been very, very effective. So just keeping an eye on exactly what these two are doing at the moment. We do have the gas now finished, the spawning pool on its way down now. It was a hatch first from HyuN, of course, so he is going back to a bit more of a traditional style up against Terran in ZVT. So yeah, all in all, just waiting around. And ooh, it's going to be a bunker coming down. HyuN cannot actually see this, but of course with the Reaper coming across, this bunker is going to give it an awful lot of extra advantage in terms of dealing with this hatch. It's about to finish up, but what can HyuN really do about it? He sees the bunker now. How does he respond? He's got 6 lings on the way, but they're not going to be out in time. The Queen is also coming, but already this Reaper making its way up. There's a second Reaper about to pop on out as well now. That's going to further bolster this. The Reaper needs to be a little bit careful, but the bunker's already finished. The SCV just retreating away, saying my job's here done, and you're going to just back on out. Of course, with this bunker, It's so difficult to stop this. It's just irritating. Of course, the pressure's going to keep on coming. These Lings are just going to slowly get worked away at, and with the bunker already finished, it takes a long time for the Lings alone to deal with that. Add in the fact that, of course, the second Reaper coming across now, that's going to just further increase this damage output. The Queen's obviously going to be taking a little bit of a beating, but the Zerglings really have to be the focus. The Lings obviously will be able to take down that bunker. The salvage is going to come on down. It should just be able to get it. That means that obviously 75 of those minerals are refunded, but still the Reaper's going for a good little bit of fun. A third Reaper, yet again, has been constructed by ForGG, and who can blame him? Because after that first game where he killed 5 drones with it, it was very, very effective. This time though, HyuN trying to chase down that Reaper, doesn't quite manage to get it. It would have been a nice pick-off for him if he was able to, but just backing on out. A couple of these Zerglings taking a bit more fire as the third Reaper joins in with this force. And looking back to that first game when there were the 5 drones worth of damage, it was incredibly irritating to deal with. And of course, Foxtrot Labs is a better map to do this on. The Queens don't have high ground vision here until now. So they should be able to get one of the Reapers. The second one needs to be very careful, just backing on out with 7 HP, only able to survive for a second. But yes, the Speedlings now done, should be able to clean up the rest of these Reapers. And that is the end of that aggression for now. Behind this, yet again, we do have the Starport and the Tech Lab, so Banshee going to be on the cards. No sign of the Armory yet, but the Hellions are in production. So, of course, this is possible that we'll see a similar build to what we saw last game coming down from ForGG, although he didn't do as much damage this game, only 3 workers killed compared to the 5 that he got in game number 1. But still, checking about, trying to work out where these two are going from here. Of course, the Lings just keeping a good eye on any other aggression that could be coming. The third base is also coming on down. There's Cloak, yet again, and HyuN, while he did take a bit of a beating, is going into a Baneling Nest, adding in now a second gas at his natural base, so just chilling along nicely, just plodding on through, just keeps trucking, and ForGG, it's really up to him to what he wants to do. Note there's no Armory, so it's just going to be Hellions for the moment, unless one gets started shortly, and there we go. He's looking for the same build that he did last game. It worked nicely for him. Nice little touch there, just coming to check over here, in case there was any Lings just waiting, maybe ready to morph into some Banelings and cause some nuisance up at this natural base. But at the moment, Hellions waiting down by this little cleaning bot, and wow, ForGG does not like robot vacuum cleaners. Remind me never to let them in my house, because I bought one and they are fantastic. But yes, Banshee coming on through, going to be looking to try and get a bit of damage. There's no Spore Crawlers down. That Armory is over half done now, about 2/3 finished. A couple of Lings waiting as well, keeping a good eye on things. They do see the Banshee, so Spore Crawlers aren't going to be able to get started up. But here come the Hellions. No sign of a counterattack ready yet, although there are a couple of Lings here ready to go on through. This wall-off isn't yet complete, but it's about to get finished, and that's a nice little touch. Scan comes on down, allows a couple of these creep tumors to get taken down. The Armory is finished. So, of course, we could be seeing those Hellbats shortly. There we go. They're going to be a lot more efficient up against these structures. Meanwhile, the Banshee racked up 3 kills already. A couple of Banelings morphing on in. But with the Cloak, nothing can be done about it. These Banelings are not going to finish. They get taken down. And while there are a couple of Speedlings here, their ramp is not completed with that wall off. And just as we saw in game number 1, an exact repeat coming down here. Although ForGG already able to take down that third base, there's Banelings this time, and that's causing him more of a problem. Both of those supply depots are taken on down. ForGG not quite supply blocked yet, but he is going to be taking quite significant amounts of damage. These SCVs were pulled away. The ramp really could do with coming back up now to try and stop these Speedlings. A couple of Hellions coming back home to try and stop this, but the Hellbats are now retreating. There's a lot of Banelings here. They trade onto the Hellbats, which isn't the most efficient use of them. But back at home, 8 SCVs have been killed to 6 drones, but a lot of commitment has been made to these Banelings already from HyuN. He lost his third base, which is a significant hit. And well, all in all, Banelings are going to be trying to do a bit more. They don't manage to get any connections there, and if we look at the resources lost, HyuN losing over double that of his opponent. ForGG is looking to be in a very strong spot now. He's got 3 Banshee out. Those 10 Hellions that can morph into Hellbats all get very, very annoying. But anyway, through here, a couple of Speedlings looking to sneak on up from behind. Or actually, no, they would have just been rallied across. The wall-off is now complete, however. In comes ForGG, and HyuN, he's down by a lot of supply. He's trying to morph in some more Banelings. But what's he going to be able to do with them? These Hellbats are in such a strong spot. The Banshee's just working away nicely. That Spore Crawler just getting killed by the splash damage even more than anything else. More Hellbats coming on through. ForGG taking a monumental advantage. We do now have a couple of Banelings trying to connect, but they get just 1 Hellbat. This is not looking good right now for HyuN. ForGG has got some defensive forces. His wall-off is complete. The Banshees still having an absolute field day. The Baneling Nest going to get taken down now as well. These Hellbats working away at the natural base. But the final chance for HyuN. He comes crashing through. Will supply block ForGG, but the Baneling's taken out. The Hellions defensively there. In exchange, the natural base of HyuN, it's a 1-base Zerg up against a 2-base Terran. Even though, obviously, that's there. The drone count is heavily, or the work count heavily in ForGG's favor. It's really not looking good for HyuN at the moment. These Banshees just working away at the lair slowly and steadily. The Spore Crawler frantically trying to reposition itself into a position where it's going to be able to stop this, but the micro is solid. The lair, if that goes down, it's all but over for HyuN here. His run in Intel Extreme Masters is looking to be ended shortly by, of course, the DreamHack winner. ForGG is able to get his opponent to concede defeat, and he advances into the winner's game 2-0 over HyuN. So that means he now goes on into the decider game to get that second spot in stage number 2. It is going to be very, very close to see how that goes. And of course, both games, ForGG executing the same strategy very, very nicely. So he's going to be facing off against either Symbol or Gumio, depending on who wins their winner's game. That's going to be broadcast on the main stream, of course. The final game on this stream is going to be coming up next, and that's going to be Super versus QXC, a Protoss versus a Terran. They were in a group with Hero and Bomber, a ridiculously tough group there. Not quite sure on the ETA of that next game, but I'll find out from the admins quickly and let you all know in chat. Of course, love to know what you think of the game so far. Hashtag IEM on Twitter at Maddles91. Let us know your thoughts and get involved in the conversation. And we'll be back, of course, with QXC versus Super after this quick break. Stay tuned.